Of course he did.
With the maple leaf flag. Good face. Are you serious? Oh my goodness! Glorious and free!
I'll meet one of these two Europeans. It never looked like it was getting there. Well, it's there and right in the middle. Look at Rahm on the other side of it.
He's all the way back. Koepka conquers the PGA
Brilliant to the end. And on Seve's birthday, Spain reigns again at Augusta. And Jon Rahm is the Masters champion.
Hello and welcome to the Putting for Dough show. Sorry, my name is Jack Humphrey. You can find me on social media at JH4Dough Media. I just wanted to get a show out. I know I've done one for the Masters, bit of a recap for that. I wanted to do one for the US Open because there was a lot said about the US Open in 2025. Do a bit of a recap on the Travellers, which obviously ended last night. In brutal fashion for Tommy Fleetwood, and a little the signature event. I think a lot of us are in agreement that things need to change in regards to a few things to make these better going forward. Personally, I would do away with them altogether, but they're not going to do that. There's too much money involved, and I would just like to see a few things changed if they're going to stay around. Just some admin, by the way. I have started writing quite a lot again about golf. Strictly back to the newsletter because X is it's a very good platform to post articles on, but it's also a right pain in about like the fees for all of that have gone right up, and it's ridiculous really when I can just get it all out via email through the Substack. So you can go to the Substack link in my Twitter profile at JH4Dough Media, and you're be able to sign up completely free to my articles there for each event. I have already started work on this week's Rocket Classic. So yeah, let's start with the US Open then. And I mean, for me, it was a brilliant US Open. I loved it. It was one of the best that I've seen in many years. I love the brutal test of the US Open. That is what the US Open is all about. That's why I didn't particularly enjoy LACC when we had it there. But I mean, to be fair to that course, like it didn't stand up to the test on day one, LACC back in 2023. But over the course of the week, it did kind of prove to be a true US Open test by the end. I still didn't enjoy the golf course, and I'm quite happy that they're not going back there for a while. But Oakmont, I mean, wow. Stunning golf course. I think the only letdown with Oakmont, I wouldn't say that there's a defining hole in that golf course. Like a lot of these golf courses have a defining hole. Like we know Augusta with aiming. I mean, all the holes are defining, but 12 is probably the most recognisable one. The par 3 at Pebble Beach, for example, is another recognisable one. The road hole at St Andrews, etc., etc. You know, there wasn't really a defining hole at Oakmont. But I just love the golf course in general, all the way around. I love that long. They tried to make that long par 3 the defining hole. I thought that was a very cool and interesting test. I mean, you were quite happy to get out of that hole with a par each day. I love the thickness of the rough. I mean, the people that are all for rolling the book, and I mean, there's in cons in the camp of I don't think we need to roll the ball back as such, but I think there's other ways that you can make golf courses harder. And I mean, casual golf fans who turn up for the majors, I get that. They probably only watch the 4 golf events each year, maybe 1 or 2 more. I saw a lot of negativity towards it, saying that this is just a stupid setup, blah, blah, blah. But it wasn't a stupid setup. If you kept your ball in the fairway, you done okay around that golf course. You know, like you managed to get around and avoid doubles, etc., etc. That's the test of that style of golf, is to keep the ball in the fairway. It's not going like bombing drives down there 360 yards and finding yourself in long, thick rough. That's not the way you're going to do it. And Bryson is the prime example of that. He tried to overpower the golf course, and he's very stubborn that way. Bryson, I love Bryson as a golfer. I think he's he's one of the best golfers around at the minute. Lots of the stuff that he does, social media and things like that. But I think he's very stubborn at times. The way that he just thinks his way is the way to do it. And, you know, all the greats learn eventually. Like Mickelson learned eventually that he had to adapt his game to win an Open Championship, and he eventually did. He started coming over for the Scottish Open. He was one of the first people to come over for the Scottish Open. One of the big names, sorry. And, he managed to adapt his game to get around the Open and eventually win it. I'm not saying Bryson won't ever do that, but you have to adapt to the conditions. I was quite surprised that I put this over social as well. I was quite surprised that no one was hitting stingers out there. I'm surprised no one had like the 2-iron in the. I mean, I'm sure golfers did, but obviously we just didn't see it on the coverage. But I'm surprised we didn't see a lot of the 2-iron stingers going around. I think Rory tried to adapt that into his game, but he was way behind that 8 ball by the point he tried to adapt some shots and things around Oakmont. The first 9 holes that he played on Thursday, Rory, and then he just fell apart on that front 9. But that front 9 killed him. It beat him up all week. He was I can't remember what he was over par all week on that front 9, but it was ridiculous. JJ Spaun, very worthy winner, kept the ball in the right places. I mean, perhaps should have won the Players' Championship earlier in the year. It's toe to toe with Rory. He's had a very good season, JJ Spaun. He's been there or thereabouts in a few tournaments this year. So, yeah, you know, credit to him. I mean, he's locked himself probably now onto the US Ryder Cup team as well with that win. But yeah, like the negativity, like, is really what I wanted to talk about. Like, I love, as I said, I love the US Open anyway. I thought it was a great test. One of my more favourite ones in recent memory. But the negativity around it was just ridiculous. I mean, I saw one comment where someone said, "Oh, the ratings will be down because of this." Ratings have been going down in golf since Tiger Woods basically stopped playing. It doesn't matter what golf course they're playing on. I mean, if you watch a regular tour, like PGA Tour event, if you watch the Byron Nelson where they're shooting 30 under, for example, the ratings are terrible. Look, we all have our tastes and what we like and what we don't, what we dislike. I like that brutal test of the US Open. That is the true golf test for me, not someone going around the Byron Nelson in a putting contest shooting 30 under. I want to see these players tested, and I want to see these players adapt. And unfortunately for JJ Spaun, he was the one who adapted the best around Oakmont. You can say Sam Burns got that bad lie after the weather delay. He got basically put in a little puddle on the fairway. But, I mean, he also took his sweet time on 8. But I think people forget this. He took his sweet time, wouldn't hit the tee shot because he knew that the bell was coming to take them off the course because of bad weather. So, you know, what comes around goes around, and the golfing gods do not forget. So, yeah, I mean, that just wasn't, you know, he hit so many bad shots before and after that anyway. It wasn't just that derailed Sam Burns' US Open there. But as I said, JJ Spaun, very worthy winner for me. And for me, very good test of golf. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. But people that are saying that ratings are down because of it, newsflash, ratings have been going down since Tiger Woods retired, pal. So, yeah, I think we'll leave it there for the US Open. It was, for me, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more than the PGA. I didn't even do a recap show for the PGA because I didn't enjoy it. Scotty ran away with it. He's that good. He's so good. I thought he was going to come back in the Travelers yesterday when he was storming again. But yeah, I mean, I never really enjoyed the PGA. The only one that I've enjoyed in recent years is probably Koepka's in 2023 at Oak Hill. I think that was. Yeah, that was at Oak Hill, that one. That's, to be honest, that's the only one I've enjoyed out of the PGA Championships in recent memory. And again, that was another test of golf. They grew the rough up, and I remember betting Koepka in play there, actually. I think he was about 40-1. He was 2 over par, about 5 shots back. I was like, he's doing everything right. He's hitting the ball into the centre of the green, etc., etc. And he come through for us there. So, yeah, that's probably the only PGA Championship I've enjoyed in recent memory. It's my least favourite of the 4. And I wish they'd just put it back in August so I don't really have to deal with it in May. Trying to make it a thing. I wish to just put the Players Championship back in May, to be honest, and I'd quite happily watch the Players Championship in May rather than when they play it in March now. But yeah, we are on to the Open, which will be going to Portrush again. I think Rory's got a very good chance. It's funny how everyone's jumped off the Rory bandwagon and are basically attacking him for not talking to the media and things. I mean, I've always been one of his least. He's not my favourite golfer. Let's put it that way. So I'm not one of his supporters or anything like that. And I've thrown shots at him in the past. And I actually quite like Hill Rory, what he's doing, not talking to the media and things like that. But I've been impressed with him in recent weeks since he's sorted the driver out. I thought the drive. I mean, he led the field in driving distance at Oakmont by a considerable amount. It wasn't even close. The next person to him. So yeah, he's certainly sorted the driver out again, and I think we're getting a prime Rory coming into the Open. But the next time we'll see him, will be at the Scottish. So we'll see what he does there. But I think he wants this, and we'll see how he goes. I'm probably going to bet him at some point. I just need to look for it a bit more. But I do fancy his chances to. He started the year with a major, and I fancy him to win one with one as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Portrush and the Open Championship in general. It's, again, another good test of golf. Hopefully we get some weather. The Open Championship always relies on weather, but we should probably get that in Ireland. So yes, in Northern Ireland, sorry. So yeah, looking forward to that in a few weeks' time. Let's have a little recap of the Travelers, and then I'll have a little moan about these signature events. Again, these shows are very quick, and they're going to be like half hour, 40 minutes, if that. They're not designed to be long shows. Everything that you want to read, you can get in the newsletter regarding betting tips and things like that, etc. Again, another T2 for us last time yesterday with Russell Henley at the Travelers. Chipped in on the last. If he could have made a putt, 2 putts all day, I mean, he wins that tournament. But hey ho, at 40-1 a tee, so we can't complain. Tommy, wow. I mean, I had no money on him at all, and I had no money on Keegan either. But I was rooting for him, but like, just. I don't know. You've got 140 yards in, and you chunk that shot. I don't understand it. And then, I mean, the chunk in the shot from 140 yards in was bad enough, but then the lag part was even worse because he left it short of Keegan's part, but it was on Keegan's line. So you're going to give Keegan the line then? It was. I don't know. I do think Fleetwood will win a PGA Tour tournament at some point. When and where, I do not know. I think this one's going to hurt him a lot more than what the Canadian Open did. I mean, he got done at the Canadian Open. I mean, it's in the video, the startup video for this show. You've seen it along that putt. It's ridiculous. That is probably a bit easier to overcome. I think the way that he lost this was, I think it's going to sting for a long time. But Keegan was the one that obviously benefit from it, and he will. Well, yeah. Yeah. Yep, we're back. Just Keegan there. I don't know what happened there. Sorry if you missed it. Yeah, he's got a really interesting dynamic because he's the captain's Arnold Palmer, I believe. I don't think it's wise to be a playing captain, but the US is definitely searching for something, because I mean they've not beaten Europe in Europe. I know this was America, but they've not beaten Europe in Europe since 1993. It's 8-4 since 1999. It's going to come back. There, it's come back again. So yeah, sorry, I have a bad signal at the minute. So yes, it's an interesting dynamic, really. I think the captain has to be involved in all the stats and things like that, etc., etc. The pairings, see what's going to work, what doesn't work. But then there may be an advantage to the captain actually playing the course and seeing what it's playing like. So I don't know. It's an interesting one. What I think it does do, that I think it has caused a problem for the US, because if he does get in on merit, which he thoroughly deserves to, so he's playing some good golf at the minute. That's the thing. He's a very strange captain choice as it was. But what do they do if, I mean, is fitting while he's playing and things? And we've seen that already. It's an interesting dynamic for the US, and it's a problem that they're going to have to sort out. But they've been searching for something, like I said at the start, for a long time in Ryder Cups. And maybe this is what they need. Maybe they need the playing captain. I don't think it'll work for us Europeans, but maybe that's what the US do need. And Bethpage should certainly suit the US. It depends how they set it up as well, because I mean our guys are not shy of hitting the ball now. So it's going to be interesting how they set that up. But I think it's a very interesting dynamic and a very interesting problem for that US team now. I mean, there's a few on the cusp that, like, you bubble at the minute. Henley, I mean, another T2 yesterday, another strong performance in a signature event. He's already won one signature event this year at the API. Is he going to go? Cantlay's obviously out of it at the minute, but I would imagine that he will go. There's some interesting problems for the US. So, I mean, Cameron Young ideally would set up for Bethpage really well, but he had an awful week at the Travellers coming up. But, you know, maybe that can be excused after his strong performance at Oakmont. But, you know, there's some interesting decisions for Keegan and that team to make. I will certainly be lumping my money on Europe again as a European. And I obviously, like I said to you, if Keegan does play, I don't like that setup for the US personally, but I may be proven very wrong. And yeah, that's golf though. I might be proven right. I might be proven wrong. Anyway, these signature events, I have put a tweet out over the weekend about them, but I mean, these signature events have got to change for me. I mean, there's a reason I don't hate the live tour like a lot of other people tend to do, which I understand. We're not going down that rabbit hole today, but I mean, something has to change with these. I think there has to be a cut in golf personally. Whether you do that after 36 holes or you do it after 50 odd holes, I I don't. Sorry, 54 holes. Sorry, I don't know. I think we need to go to 100 players. I also, I'm firmly in the camp of a 36-hole cut, and that would be the top 50 in tyres. I think 3 of the events each year should stay the same as signature events, which should be Riviera, Tigers event, sorry, API, obviously Arnie's event, and Memorial, which is Jack's event, and then you rotate the others. What I don't want is I don't want these events played straight after majors. I mean, we saw it this week. There was 7 withdrawals, I think, something like that this week at the Travellers, like through rounds. Some were injuries, some were other things. I don't get it playing it straight after a major. I know you want to try and build on the momentum and things, but it doesn't work. Like, go back to my example there, like about the US Open, people moaning about it. The people that were moaning about it, the people that watch golf 4 times a year, they don't care that there's going to be a signature event the week after. So yeah, I want that done away with. I think the exemptions are ridiculous. I mean, Ricky Fowler's getting into every tournament and he's playing bad golf. And you know, I think golfers should be getting in on merit. Like, I don't care what you've done last year. Like, I think there has to be some sort of thing where maybe you do the top 10, top 20 on what happened the year before. But again, Nick Dunlap, prime example. I put this out there yesterday, and this is not just to pick on him because there's other golfers that are doing it. But I'm gonna just. I've been picking on him for the last month or so in every event, in matchups and things like that, because it's very easy. He's playing very, very bad golf at the minute, right? But he finished dead last yesterday, along with Finau, at 11 over par at the Travellers, which is a scoreable course, right? It's not the hardest course in the world. He was T55 at the Century, that's dead last. He was T58 at Pebble Beach, near enough dead last. Best performance in the signature. These are just signature events this year. Best performance in the signature event come at the Genesis, which wasn't actually played at the golf course it's normally played at this year because of the LA fires. They moved it obviously to Torrey Pines. Anyway, T17 finishes there. Misses the cut at API. T71 at the Heritage, which is pretty much dead last. T44 at the Memorial, which, you know, hard golf course, makes the cut, you know, back end of the field. And then T26, like I said, at the Travellers yesterday, which is dead last in the field with Tony Finau. I think there has to be a change in something like this. Again, I'm not just picking on Nick Dunlap. I'm picking on golfers that are playing bad golf and not getting in on merit. There's other golfers out there that are getting in on that should be getting in on merit. Sorry. So yeah, I just want to change in it. The overall system needs looking at. I mean, it was only signature events regardless, but we're not going to get down that road. We're going to obviously be keeping these signature events because that's what the PGA Tour wants, but there has to be a cut in golf. There really does. You can't. There's a reason that is one of Liv's major issues, and why it doesn't succeed is there's not a cut. I don't care. And maybe you do what you do at the Amex, where you have, like I say, a 54-hole cut or something. If these guys want to play the 3 rounds or whatever, but there has to be a cut at some point. And yeah, players have to be in on merit. I don't care what you've done last year. If you're Nick Dunlap, if you're Scotty Scheffler or Rory McIlroy, granted, I can get behind what you've done last year. But Nick Dunlap, sorry, pal. The Barracuda doesn't do it for me. I'm going to leave it there with my thoughts on that. As I say, these shows will be quick and informative, I hope. They're just me, and they're also just a way for me to get my views out on certain things. And in the golfing world, I don't know when I'll be back. I'll probably be back for the Open Championship at some point. Maybe I'll do that before or after. I may well do one for the Scottish, but obviously we're going to go for a bit of a lull in the golf tournaments now. We've got Rocket coming up this week, so I will have all my newsletter out on Wednesday with all the details in it, tee times, weather, stats that I'm looking at, my bets, etc. So yeah, take a look at that. It's free to sign up, and the link is in my bio. But yeah, I hope everyone has a great week, and I will catch up with you when I catch up with you. Cheers, guys.